No, I think that what you just said there at the end is very true. I had a relationship with my uncle, and for a long time I avoided him because he held me accountable. And until I was just ready to be held accountable and move forward with my life,
Yeah.
everything got better. And I feel like everyone needs that uncle. Unfortunately for everybody, not everyone has a dad that's close to them.
Yeah.
But at least if we had more men that, would step up and be uncles to these kids where it's like, yo, you need to move forward because the world don't owe you nothing.
Nah.
And
The
it's
world is
very
the
cruel.
world.
It will allow you to feel whatever you want to feel, but at the end of the day, it's about the end result.
Yeah. The world is the world. Like I've got a 21-year-old currently that works for me, with me. I don't like saying someone works for me. I like saying people work with me. You understand? It kind of helps them. Like I never also say little brother. I always say my bro. It's weird. There's some things I stopped. I find I don't want to belittle anyone, even in just such a little word. Oh, my little brother. Nah, my bro. What does it matter if he's little or not? That guy might have what you want, but because you belittled him, he'll be scared to open up. No, put him on try and increase his value, even though he doesn't even know he have it. Try and increase his value. So the young man that works with me now, I met him through one of the uncles. He's like a dad. I learned through him, right? And he said to me, I've got one young nephew of mine, yeah? Now he's 67, saying to me he's got a young nephew of his. I'm 37. He says he's got one nephew that's about 21, but he can't learn under him. He wants him to come and learn from me because I'm still active in it. His role is just going to different countries and making sure the businesses are fine. He doesn't want that young boy to think that's what life is. He wants that young boy to understand that you have to go from here on train to there. You have to go to that one, do that one, speak to that one. He's learning groundwork. Groundwork gives you confidence. Do you understand? So that's why like, people need to apply with people that will help them build their confidence. In this world, a lot of people shy away. I don't mind whatever you say. I need confidence. Confidence oozes. When someone comes and they're confident, you'll be thinking, wow, what's going on? You might not give them what they want, but you're going to appreciate their. That's just where we need to just install more confidence in the kids. Like, by God's grace, you'll see me. I haven't started, but I have a plan to go to schools. I have a plan to go to schools. And the reason why I want to go to schools is because what schools don't teach you is it is possible without going through the whole prison, getting stabbed, getting shot. I thank God. I've never been to jail, never been stabbed, I've never been shot. I pray to God, I thank God it never happens. I would like to show people that even if you do those things, you don't need to go that way to get there. You can still get there without going that way. These are the kind of certain things you need to do. Do you understand? Been in loads of situations. Do you understand? But I will always thank God. It's not me. It's God, and that's why I said it's a calling, because it's God making me go through things. I'll be in the same place as people, seeing certain things, and be like, I didn't let that happen to you, because you're going to do that for me. And I've also understood that when your life gets better and you get to platforms, a lot of people like think it's a joke when people say God. God always tells me to remind people that I'm here because he's allowed me to be here. So when I get onto platforms, I must remind people that I'm only here because of the grace of God. So to remind them that, look, I'm only but a man like you, and there's God. And if you seek God and you ask God, he will start finding better men in life. Not a preacher. But I must explain that to people. We lost our ways. No one says you need to go to church or mosque or this. By all means, you can go. But there's something just kneeling down now or anywhere you are and basically saying, you know what, God, I thank you. I'm going through this thing. Why do you feel like you can't speak to someone that already knows? How can you not speak to God that already knows? This is what's missing in the youth. What's the them ain't got no, they ain't dealing with God, they ain't praying, like they just on this crud. And I try to install that in a lot of youth. Pray. They're like, oh yeah, I do pray, but there's no but. Just pray. You do your parts and tell someone else to pray again, and also help other people. That's it. I know we went off tangent a bit, but it's just something we have to speak about sometimes, you
No,
know.
100%.
So sometimes I want to help the kids, but the kids need to pray for help.
100%. I think faith, God, no, God is a lot of successful people's secret, but I don't think they tell people enough. Like, no, this is needed. If I didn't have this and this God, I wouldn't have all of this. You know what I mean? And I think where people see a lot of evil people get a lot of successful things, it's like, okay, well, do you really need God?
Yeah, but they don't know how they're suffering.
And this is all the thing, and because of the impressionable world we're in
Yeah.
through social media, unfortunately, people won't see what people are really going
Don't know
through.
how people are
You only
juggling
see
their
the
suffering.
highlights. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But on that note, I want to kind of leave people with some actionable steps. How do we start a business today? Let's start from the beginning and work through it
How do we start a business in this day and age
today.
today? First of all, actually, I like this. How do you start a business in this day and age? You must start a business with the intention, number one, to provide a service that's needed, meaning people will call on you. Listen, make sure you have something that people call on, not that you have to be begging them for. When you beg people for things, they'll reduce your worth. When people have to come to you, your worth is never undervalued. Make sure you start that. Also, work on something that's a brand. You see, it is all well and good me selling Malta Guinness. I love it. But anybody can sell Malta Guinness. Malta Guinness is the owner that's going to get more Malta Guinness name. There's a difference as to why I wear Food Junkie and not Malta Guinness. Because Food Junkie is a brand. Wholesale is a business. Having a brand is something that if you ever need that thing, you cannot call anybody for it. You must go to KFC for KFC. You must go to McDonald's. Make sure service something that people will call on you. You don't need to beg and chase them, yeah? A brand that you can constantly, only thing that's scalable is a brand. If you start selling these 6K cameras and you can buy 1 million, if I get money and I can go and buy 2 million, I get it cheaper than you. I undercut you in the market. All of a sudden you have a flaw. Try and seek the flaws in your business. Don't just look for the money in it. Seek where are the flaws? Where can my business be affected? Where can I have a problem in my business? Also, look for business as problem solving. What problem does this business solve? Do you understand? What problem does this business solve? Also, where do I see this business in 10 years? Where do I see this business in 10 years? Also, another thing, if you don't know how to do what you want to do, go and volunteer for someone that does it and learn how to do it so you can at least know the basic steps of starting. So even though they can have you as a manager, you don't want to manage. You want them to put you on the floor so you can see how they stack the shelves, because that's what you need to learn. Make sure you go and volunteer and you let them know what you want to do. Also, learn that you need to be disciplined. Business requires discipline. In the first initial stages of business, there's no squandering. No matter how much you want to spend on something, right? Take your time to look for it. I spent £19,000 on a racking. I sold it for 6 grand. My friend spent 6 grand on a racking. There's no difference. It's still the same racking. I just thought I wanted to get mine from this particular place. And when I wasn't in that building no more and I had to move because the time was done there, the amount of money I lost on it was ridiculous. He doesn't really care if his one is going to sell for 4 grand. He only paid 6 for it. I cared. I lost a lot of money. Do research. If something is 5 grand, go and see if you can get it for 4,500. Go and see if you can get it for 4,200. Go and see if you can get it for 4,159. All them things make a difference. It's just extra steps. Now imagine you've got 10 different people and all 10 of them are giving 10 different prices. Now, if you need that product again another time, you got 10 people you can call. These are why it's worth taking those steps to finding cheaper prices, right? Another thing for business owners is you can start off as a sole trader, right? Meaning, as a sole trader, you don't have to pay for certain things, right? Like when you're a limited company, there's certain things. Now, you start as a sole trader for 1 year. When you do all your paperwork and everything, keep it intact. Keep your paperwork tidy. all your receipts every day. No one said arrange it all. Throw it in a bag. End of the week, arrange it. You need to be organized. So if you need to be organized, so if you need an invoice from 4 weeks ago, and I say, oh bro, let me get the invoice from 4 weeks ago. You'd be like, oh, give me a second. Which one? Okay, yeah, here you go. You have to start. Then from sole trader, you go into a limited company. Limited company is now, okay, you know what? I want to do this. I want to get an accountant. I might have someone that looks over my books. You can still do your bookkeeping yourself. You can file yourself, but you have to hand it over. And then also, finally in business, what I've realized is learn. Constantly look online and learn. Learn, like, okay, you know what? This is what I do. This is what it is. Try and listen to other people, ideologies about what you're doing and how they see things, so you can correlate it with where you are and how far you can go. And above all, pray to God. You can wake up tomorrow, start a business, and you meet someone the next day, you're a billionaire. You can wake up tomorrow, start a business, and you're still working for 20 years. It's just the grace of God. But never give up. Once you start something, if it's not working, don't be afraid to quit. And don't stop. Just redefine it. Like, okay, I'm doing that. That's not going where it left. I'm going to keep doing it, but I'm going to do it right. Just redefine it. That's it.
Perfect. I think that's amazing, and that's what I needed. I'm very much the type of person that I believe that you could talk all this motivation stuff, but let's give people actionable steps, because I want that gap between the olders and the youngers to be intertwined.
Together,
And I think one thing that you said earlier in the conversation, which that whole bro thing, like, I think that is the difference between what I've seen in other cultures, specifically British culture, where you could have a 30-year-old talking to a 60-year-old like they're mates. Whereas we're from Nigeria, that military background type of thing will make you have to belittle someone to make yourself feel. And I feel like, no,
you gotta get rid of
information, everything. As an entrepreneur, one thing you said is key, that you have to always want to learn. You can learn from the youngers as much as you can learn from the elders. Obviously, there's a lot of wisdom with elders because of experience of life. But there's things that the youngers, like you said, is untapped. Untapped knowledge is like Africa, where it's untapped resources.
They know different things.
You just need to let them, elevate and express themselves. And I feel that's one thing I've learned from British culture, that you kind of have to get that elder stuff out your head very quickly.
Yeah, but they don't listen. But yeah, hopefully, they say when you know something's not good, you teach others better.
Definitely. And you're putting into the world the positivity you want to see. So I think I won't hold you long, but the last question I will definitely ask you about, and we always ask our Goodman Factory guests, is what do you define as a good man?
What's my definition of a good man? Someone that other people say is a good man. See your character. You call yourself a good man, okay, that's your own. What do others say about you? How do others perceive you? What have you done for others? Who have you helped? Who have you invested in? That's what a good man is. It's not you that will tell me the kind of person you are. It's the people I ask about you. When someone dies, it's not them that's going to talk about themselves. It's the people standing there and the people in the gathering say, Papa, I remember when this guy, I remember this one, that. Being a good man is all good to you. But make sure you're so good to other people that they only have that thing to say about you. That's what I believe. I believe, like, me, when you go and speak to people, they'll be like, that guy's hardworking, that guy's this, that guy's that. You're probably going to hear the same kind of things from the majority of people. He keeps himself to himself, he does this, he does that. I'm public, but I'm not social. A lot of people know me, but if they spent time with me, no. No, you haven't. Why? Because I like learning, and I realize that less is more. I don't want to be everywhere. You can show me everywhere, but physically, I'm not everywhere. You can't tell me you're seeing me week after week in the same place. No, unless it's work. But outside, no. So that's what you have to do. You have to define your character. How do you define your character? Like, people can't define you unless you define yourself. So a good man is basically how you carry yourself around people. When you come around someone and you're a nuisance, then you say, oh, brother, what's up? Do you know my man? What, that nuisance? Because you carry yourself as a nuisance. So they're just going to relate to how you carry yourself. But if you went around people and you carried yourself and say this, they say that. When I see people, they say, Mr. Podcast, Mr. Motivator, Mr. YouTube. That's how I carry myself. That's a good man to me. You telling me you're a good man? Cool. Please bring me 50 people. How do you define this guy? Or this guy is a this guy is a that. If I hear good man or he's a bad, I believe them. They're the people you went around and showed your character. You don't show yourself your character. You treat yourself the best. You don't want to harm yourself. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to be rude to yourself, right? Show me other people that you've dealt with in life. They will explain to you the kind of person you are. You know, I'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know. Of course you didn't know. You'd never treat yourself the same way you treat others. But once you start treating yourself the same way you treat others, you start realizing that the love in society grows for you. And people generally just start taking to you. God starts sending people your way because you're able to input more into them rather than people that are avoiding you because you're a certain way.
No, thank you for that. I really appreciate you. And on that note, we'll end the conversation. Thank you for coming on Ask the Goodman. If you can please let everybody know your Twitter handles, Instagram, TikTok, where they can follow you, where they could find your food.
Yeah, definitely. So you can find my social media is Instagram at Mr. _ OSHODI, Mr. Oshodi. Facebook at _ Mr. Oshodi. Twitter, Mr. _ Oshodi. YouTube, Mr. _ Oshodi. Snapchat, Mr. _ Oshodi. No one really has it. I've coined it from a long time ago. Food Junkie is www.foodjunkie.co.uk, foodjunkie.co.uk. And then the cash and carry is based in Barking, Afro-Caribbean Cash and Carry. Got all your food. There's retail and there's wholesale there as well. If you follow me on my page, you see it is Bowo Fola Foods. It's up by Portland Road, IG11 OTW. These are the things we do, man.
Oh, perfect.
Everything is...
That's it. Thank you so much for coming on to the Goodman Factory studio.
God bless you, my bro. Thanks for having me.
Ask the Goodman with Mr. Oshodi, and we're out. Peace. Perfect.